the no editing, how to push out, 3 segments a week with editing, not
Right,
something I can afford to do,
right. I understand.
Yeah, you know better than anything. Well, there we go. I think I got the clearance here for the second segment. Did you see that we're in fact good to go, Corey?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay, good. Well, we have a video producer, Don Wexler, here on Quantum Leap Live. And if you're new to the show, we talk about business development issues, and there's no better place to start these days. And adding video promotion to promote your business, and Don's really one of the premier experts and resources in the Bay Area. With He has the biggest studio that I know of outside of maybe Pixar or something over there in Emeryville. I know the city of Oakland has a studio that's not nothing compared to what he has. I shouldn't say that because I haven't seen it in a while. But anyway, we're going to get right to him, but I wanted to give Corey a chance to introduce himself. And if you want to say a few words about the pertinence of video in today's world, feel free to. But yeah.
Hey everyone, Cory Knott, and I am a business partnership coach with Take Wayne Coaching, which I co-own with my wife, Gail Knott. And yeah, I mean, video is what everybody is after. It's it seems to the highest percentage of views are going to come through video. People don't read as much or listen to as much, and so we need video to reach our audience.
Yeah, and I'll just say that this podcast, Don's really the centerpiece of our communication program in a lot of ways. It has to be combined with other things, but I don't think people realize how much traction and exposure you can get from podcasts. And I know you have some great examples done in your studios that it's not only a podcast, it's a video podcast, and you have some beautiful examples. I'll have to share some of the links if I still can about that one, what you did with the lighting, and you can make them really look very special. But I want to just have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story and how you serve your clients for folks who don't know you.
All right. Well, hello, Don Wexler. Actually, the parent company that I've got is called Deal Quiver, and then we've got 5 companies underneath that, which are all in the digital marketing world, from our own custom platforms that we've built, technologies, to services that we offer as well. And as David mentioned, and Cory has also mentioned, we also are pretty heavily involved in video. In fact, we got involved in video back in 2010 and started as you'd expect, with a laptop up on a ladder in the living room using the webcam as our camera and the laptop screen as the teleprompter. And here we are, whatever it is, 14 years later, I guess now, and we're in a warehouse size video production studio where we do all kinds of video production and photography and TV commercials and a lot of on air, or digital kind of for websites, and as David mentioned, podcasts, video podcasts, et cetera, et cetera. So whole gamut.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to update my promo with some more of that footage and give you a shout out, because if you haven't been over there, it's really an impressive studio, and you shoot with some of those really cool cameras to get a good look. So it's not like kind of drab video like a lot of these commercials we watch on cable TV. He can give you a better look than you see on TV, and more exciting. I think it's really cutting edge for solopreneurs, and but also bigger companies in the Bay Area. And I don't know. I was going to ask you about your upcoming event, but I'm going to jump ahead to number three about, who really are the, my experience has been that it's mostly high value industries that do good on video. Of course, everybody could use it, but who are you reaching out to for video to take advantage of your studio there and the
Yeah.
services you provide? Yeah.
Well, um, you know, let me get a little bit into why we even built the studio, why we even decided to go this route. And we noticed that, historically, TV commercials have been the purview of large companies, because only the larger companies could afford airtime on television, the high production cost, et cetera. And what we noticed for the small to medium sized businesses, the hurdles was that before we kind of came on the scene, there were really two types of options available. One I call the run and gunners, which are the videographers who, whatever they can put in the trunk of their car, essentially. They don't have a studio, so they have to shoot on location at your location potentially. So, and that's great in certain circumstances. That works out really well. But what we've found and what you'll find when you try to do video is that it's all about light and sound, controlling light and sound. And when you're out in the public ethers, very difficult to control one or two or both of those. Whereas when you're in a studio, you have total control over light and sound. The other option was people could go to one of the existing, really large studios, and then those were cost prohibitive. So we saw an opportunity for a gap between those two, where we could make it, people could get a professional studio shot production, but at a price that was closer to the run and gun. So it became affordable. We opened up the window for basically for anybody to be able to come in and shoot and create high quality professional video. Because the other option, of course, are the selfie styles, which in certain contexts can work really well. I mean, it's really good for testimonials and kind of off the cuff kind of stuff. But if you're trying to put forth a really professional image to your marketplace, then you're going to need something a little bit different than that. You need a little higher quality environment, shoot style.
Yeah, and I've found this is perfect for attorneys or medical clinics, real estate, a lot of these industries that, and Don really has a system for how to package his stuff. It's really an economy of scale. You want to go in there and rent half a day or a full day of the studio, and he can get you five quality videos that you can put out over the course of the next 4 to 6 weeks, and really has a whole system for how to scope that out and produce it. And that's the way you make video feasible. I think a lot of people, they don't have the right system for how they're going to go about it, and it kind of hovers over them. But it really makes sense to do it all in kind of a concentrated effort or as packages as you do there.
Yeah, we have clients who will come in, let's say once a month, and then shoot all their videos for that month. And so they have to only it's that way it's not as big of a time commitment on their part. It's kind of you knock it out in one shot, but then you got content. And the nice thing about video content as well is you can also leverage it in other ways, right? So you can use the transcription for blog articles. You can strip out the audio for audio podcasts. So there's a lot of ways to leverage the content that you create inside the studio so you can get, take one piece and get 4 to 5 uses out of it.
Yeah, I could even take that footage and use it for the whole year if you get some good green screen footage and do some double exposure, like some graphics and stuff. So if people start with that as a base, then they can, use it in other ways. It's really such a valuable um, kind of content that you create. And of course, to be successful, you want it to be ongoing, and I find that that's what the visionaries need. So who wouldn't love a studio that you could book one day a month at an affordable rate to have just this really a world-class video production program? And reach out to Don to talk more about it, or I'm happy to kind of talk to you about the campaign, and then we can link up with Don to shoot it. But you have an event coming up. I just have this one, and I'll see about this event. Then I'm going to turn it over to Cory, if you don't mind. I'm going to put the link to it, but tell us what this event is that you have coming up for
Sure.
entrepreneurs, businesses.
Yeah. So I guess, I've lived a very eclectic life. I won't go into all the details, but I'll suffice it to say that I started my first company when I was 22, when I was a long hair hippie guy at Berkeley, UC Berkeley. I'm still long hair on the inside, not so much on the outside. But I've always been very entrepreneurial. I've had, been fortunate to have a pretty significant, success in the various ventures I've went into. And it was all of the businesses, no matter what business I was in, it was always about marketing. Because you can have the greatest product or service in the world out there. And if no one knows about it, then it doesn't do the world any good, and certainly doesn't do you any good. So whatever I did, marketing was a big feature. And what I noticed as I started forming all these other companies in the digital marketing space, that most of our clients, when I say most, I mean like 99.9%, didn't have a marketing strategy. What they were doing was they were kind of jumping from tactic to tactic to tactic, and without really an overarching ecosystem or framework within which they were kind of fitting all of these different messaging their messages and communication styles and their target audience, and there was just no cohesiveness or consistency. And that's that you just can't scale that way. You want to scale your business and really grow it, you need to have a very clear vision of who you are, what your message is going to be, like an irresistible offer kind of message, and then how are you going to communicate it, and how are you going to create all the collateral to support that. So I realized, okay, that's what's really needed out there before the tactics. Otherwise, because most people just throw, they throw whatever they can against the wall, so to speak, and whatever sticks sticks, but there's no really rhyme or reason behind it. So it's not surprising that people aren't having the success that they should have. So for the last year, I've been putting over 20 hours a week, literally, into this training called From Six to Seven Figures. And it's really designed for businesses who have achieved a certain level of success, or it could be a startup, but businesses that have gotten to a certain level of success, but just can't break through that glass ceiling to get to the next level. And this is designed to take those businesses and teach whoever attends, the owners typically, how to think about marketing. Not only think about it, but create. Basically broke it down into 3 phases, 3 steps per phase, 3 action items per step. So it's a very linear process. And this will be delivered online, in the future. But we're doing a 2-day live training in our studio towards the end of April of 2024. I don't know if we're going to ever do another live training again. I'm doing it in the studio because I want to get video of me giving the training for when we roll it out nationally. So we're doing it very inexpensively. I would do it for free, frankly, except that I want to have people have some skin in the game, so they actually show up and do the work. Because it's implementation is easy. It's thinking that's hard, and this is a lot of thinking. So if you front load the process by doing a lot of thinking and diagram everything out and think it through, when it comes to the actual implementation, it's a lot easier and a lot smoother. And then you can be consistent, as David was mentioning earlier, because it's about the consistency of delivery of a great message.
Yeah, well, that's all music to our ears. And Cory, I know we're both big believers in a lot of what you're saying. You have a unique perspective on this content, and I'd love to, see how we can promote that when you get that footage or as you move forward. You know, put this training in my newsletter and maybe get some of that footage, and I can put out another kind of collaborative video, because I see it as kind of fitting hand in glove with a lot of the stuff Cory does, and that some of the stuff that's in my book, where you have the kind of the coaching business development stuff, but then you need to kind of supercharge it with the marketing. So you need both pieces that fit hand in hand. I know you're doing a little of both, but
Well,
it all kind of goes together. Yeah.
we're very clear that we're not operations.
Okay.
And so we do talk to businesses and say, look, what we're going to do here is going to get you more business. It absolutely will. That can break your company. So you get to be very clear that as you grow, you're going to need another type of coach, an operational type of person to consult with you. Otherwise, you can get crushed by your own success. So we are very clear that we stop when you get the client and they sign up, we're done. Now you need somebody else to help you take it, the rest of the way on the field. We got you, 10 yards past the line. We got a first down for you. Now to keep going, you need someone to help you navigate the rest of the field.
Yeah, great. Well, I'll check in with you this later this week, and we can talk a little bit more about your vision for the future there and how we can collaborate, and
Sure.
exciting stuff. Um, I want to turn it over to Cory. If you have any comments on that type of training, Cory, I know you were nodding your head through it, and something we try to do on this show, kind of set up a lot of these concepts as well. But
Yeah, no, it's always really helpful to do any kind of training, where somebody who's got experience and can bring, step by step to the process. So especially, marketing, I think people do tend to run for a lot of marketing, and so look for the people who are successful at it is what I have to say, because there's a lot out there to do, and I'm sure Don is going to be a really good class. So Don, what is your why? What is the juice behind what you're doing here?
Well, again, I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And again, we run into it all so often with these business owners and upper management who just don't understand what is really necessary to be successful with their marketing.
Right.
And we do also a lot of what's known as white label work, which is other agencies hire us behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
to fulfill on tactics. But invariably, what's missing is that ecosystem, that framework. And so becomes a less than satisfying experience for everybody because not everyone's on the same page going into the process. And
Right.
so we know what we want to deploy and why, but the people in charge of making decisions aren't educated about our business. And so they have a difficult time making smart choices. So we want to we like working with smart clients, educated. When I say smart, I really mean educated. I mean, smart's good too, don't get me wrong, but educated clients so that when we all move forward, we're all kind of singing the same song off the same hymn book, if you will. Uh, Things go a lot smoother for everybody. And I'll tell you, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just an ex long hair guy. I just like to see everybody doing well. And it's a big world. There's a lot of room out there for everybody. We help other agencies. We don't take got to take every nickel off the table kind of thing in our direction. That's not really our attitude. So I've learned a lot of stuff over the last 4 decades of being in business. And I know I look like I'm in my 20s. I get it. You don't have to say. I appreciate that. But yeah, just like to spread the good word and just help people out. And it all comes around, right? It all comes around.
And so what are some of the options that people have out at your Concord studio?
Well, when it comes to video production, and certainly that's a great way to deliver your message. Whenever you've determined what your messaging is and who your target audience is, who you're trying to reach, you've got your message defined clearly,
Mm-hmm.
and all the different, you defined what your actual value proposition is, what makes you you, right? Because again, something we talk to people about is particularly, let's say, if you're in the service business, which a lot of people are, it's how do you differentiate from the pack?
Right.
Because one of my favorite little sayings is, look, everyone's going to have 3 referrals, 3 clients, hopefully I have at least 3 clients who are happy with what they delivered. They're going to tell you they're the best, and and their mother loves them, hopefully. So, so as a prospect looking to determine which service you're going to use, how do you determine?
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult because everyone's tooting the same horn.
Hmm.
Uh, so our process, as an example, teaches how to not just talk about why you're different/better, but to have demonstrable collateral that shows clearly to the prospect
Right.
how you're different. So that's a long way around getting back to your question. I know I'm getting, what do we actually do in terms of video? And we do a lot of other things as well. But we do everything from, as David mentioned earlier, we do podcasts, video podcasts. We've got a lot of large companies that do monthly or biweekly podcasts with us to deliver content about their products and services, case studies. We do remote interviews. So we've got, as an example, we're located in California, in the Bay Area. We work with agencies in, let's say, in Massachusetts who have clients in England, and we facilitate. Essentially, it's like a Zoom call,
Mm-hmm.
but reason why Zoom doesn't work well for sophisticated audiences for videotaping and editing is because if you're watching this video, as you are right now,
Hmm.
all of this, both the audio and the video, comes through one pipe.
Yep.
So you can't edit it very easily. In other words,
Right.
if I was to have a dog, if I was gonna have a dog or like a truck bot goes by or whatever, really loud, I can't edit that out. My staff can't edit that out because if we cut that out, we cut the whole segment out.
Right.
Whereas with the software we use, every person has their own video stream, their own audio stream individually. So we could literally take well, while Dave is talking as an example, we could take
Mhm.
this truck that rumbled by my window, that sound out of
Yeah.
the edit, and you'd hear Dave clearly, and there'd be no truck rumble. So
I, I,
we do a
yeah.
very sophisticated green screen, as
Right.
Dave had mentioned. We do so there's green screen and then there's green screen.
Right.
Right. So if you look at Star Wars, the movie, that's green screen. A lot of the stuff you see is green screen, but that's usually not what you're getting. That not that quality. We can actually do what's called three-dimensional green screen, where we can actually put the person three-dimensionally into a scene, so it does not look like green screen.
Okay.
As well as, we do a lot of coaching. I mean, a lot of people,
Mhm.
I got to lose 20 pounds first before I go on camera, or I gotta, I don't, I don't I don't present well, or we do a lot of coaching. And I'll tell you, the camera can have you lose 20 pounds a lot faster than you can.
Right.
We'll tell
Yeah.
you what to wear and how, and we'll use the right lenses. So you'll lose the 20 pounds without having to actually lose the 20 pounds if that's the issue. But don't let that hold you back is the point. We do a lot of coaching on camera because it's normal not to feel comfortable on camera. That's the norm. Not
That's true. Yeah.
unusual for the person who walk in cold to go, it's just that's unusual.
It's
It's
funny
not,
as comfortable as I am in front of an audience and public speaking and everything else. It's the camera's a whole different thing. Unless
correct.
unless the camera's at the other end of the audience, and then I don't care.
Right. Then you don't notice it, right? Because you're
Right.
focusing on the audience. Yeah, but talking into a lens, and of course we have teleprompters. You don't have to memorize what you're going to say.
Right.
You need to, and we have a lot of tips on how to write a good script. We'll help you edit it. We consult and all that stuff. Um, but really what differentiates us, I think, from other videographers, aside from the fact of our sophistication in our studio, is that we're marketers.
Hmm.
So if you go to a typical videographer and you say, I want to shoot this, this, and this, they'll say, yeah, sure, no problem. We can shoot that, that, and that. Whereas our response is going to be, why do you want to shoot that? Who are you talking to? What do you want them to do after they see the video? What's the call to action? What is the point? You
Right.
know, is it just an ego stroke for yourself, or do you actually hope to achieve an ROI? So we do a lot of consulting in that area as well, just to figure out how can we make this a money maker as opposed to a money spender for you.
Right. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through some contacts and see if there's anybody else I can reintroduce you to or introduce to you because I'm glad we did this segment. It's been a while since we've talked and had you on, given some other things I've been working on, and we've been kind of on break for, well, I haven't, I've kind of, long story, I haven't been doing as much video production as I was before, but I'd like to, figure out a way to work together on some stuff.
Yeah,
So,
I could get you over
yeah,
the studio, and well, truthfully, you should come. I'll send you the link again for the landing page, and you should sign up. I think it'll blow your mind is what it'll do. We've got companies going through it right now. So in this 9-step process, I had mentioned 3 phases, 3 steps per phase, 3 action items per step. We've got businesses right now who are on step 3 out of 9 who are seeing already demonstrable increases in their revenue, and they're just at step 3.
All right,
So
guys, I've got to jump off. I actually have a training to go to, and
yeah,
I
no
think
problem. We're gonna wrap
I'll
up, and
wrap it
you
up.
can
And
drop out,
thanks,
Corey.
Dave.
We're
Thanks,
gonna,
Don. Thanks,
thank
David.
you, Cory. Take care.
yes, I'll see you soon, Corey and Don. Well, thanks for coming on. We're gonna leave it there for today, and if you want to stay on for a minute or two after, we can we can reconnect. But folks, thanks for joining us on Quantum Leap. Look forward to putting the links to your training and your website and how to get in touch with Don if you are in the East Bay and want to get into the studio. He can see about getting you in to produce some great videos. Thanks, everyone.